The sky cracked open with fire when the first alien ships arrived above Earth. Nobody saw it coming. There had been no warning, no message, no signs in space. Within minutes, cities went dark. The attackers didn't want gold or power. They wanted silence, and they took it fast. Captain Raynor wasn't in the city. He was stationed at a secret research post deep under the Arctic ice. He had no idea a war had started until all contact with command was lost. Static filled every screen. Satellites were down. The outside world had vanished. Raynor stood in front of the comms unit, frozen in confusion. Then the tremors began. The ice above shook like thunder had struck it. Machines in the control room rattled on their mounts. Raynor ran to the surface hatch and stared through the reinforced glass. What he saw wasn't from Earth. A massive alien transport ship had crashed not far from the outpost. It was half buried in ice, glowing with strange lights and leaking dark smoke into the wind. Raynor grabbed his winter gear and rushed out. He wasn't a soldier anymore. He was a scientist now. But training kicked in. As he approached the wreck, a low hum filled the air, and a wave of heat pushed against his face. The alien craft was splitting open. Something inside was moving. He pulled out a scanner and pointed it at the wreckage. Toxic gas, unknown particles. The atmosphere around the ship was poisonous. But there were life signs inside. Dozens, weak, fading, and small. Not adult-sized. His breath caught. It wasn't a warship. It was a nursery. The nearest hatch popped open with a hiss. A spindly shape crawled out and collapsed in the snow. It was tall, insect-like, and badly wounded. Blood not red, but glowing. Silver soaked its armor. It raised one arm toward Raynor and tried to speak. No words came. Only a sharp clicking sound. Raynor stepped closer, weapon drawn but held low. The alien pointed behind itself, toward the ship. Its hand shook, fingers curled in desperation. Then it collapsed fully. Raynor had no time to check for a pulse. He ran toward the hatch and climbed inside the craft. Heat hit him instantly. So did the smell. The inside of the ship was filled with steam and chemicals. He activated his helmet's filtration system and moved deeper. Cries echoed through the corridor. Small, soft cries. Not from soldiers. From children. Alien children. He reached the central chamber. Rows of incubation pods lined the walls. Some had cracked open. Others were melting from the gas. Tiny alien infants, no bigger than his forearm, writhed in pain. Their skin was burning. Raynor didn't stop to think. He tore open his gear bag and pulled out sealant foam and oxygen packs. He moved from pod to pod, sealing gaps, shutting down failing vents, and pumping clean air from his tanks into their chambers. The babies were weak, but alive. He counted 23 in total. Most were stable now, but not safe. The ship's core was unstable. It wouldn't last long. As he worked, he noticed a glowing tunnel near the rear of the room. Inside it was a larger chamber, surrounded by strange symbols. At the center was a cocoon-like structure, slowly pulsing with dim light. He stepped in, unsure what he would find. Then the cocoon split open. Out stepped the breeding queen. She was taller than him, with translucent wings and a crown of living bone. Her eyes were wide, bright with emotion. She looked at Raynor, not with hatred, not with fear, but with something close to trust. She spoke in broken English, her voice trembling. "You helped our young. You are different. You are rare among your kind," she said. Raynor nodded slowly. "They're alive, but this ship won't last long." "We have to get out," he replied. The queen looked at the pods. She raised one hand and emitted a soft tone. The infant stopped crying. Calm returned to the chamber. Then she looked at him. Again, stepping closer. Her body glowed softly, the light from her chest pulsing in rhythm with her breath. "You carry clean blood. Strong DNA. Compatible, she said quietly. Raynor didn't understand. What do you mean compatible? He asked. The Queen tilted her head and placed a glowing hand against his chest plate. Our kind faces extinction. We can save them with you, she whispered. Raynor stared at her. The walls of the ship shook again. Time was running out. But the Queen's gaze was full of hope, not for herself, for the children, for her entire species. He took a deep breath and nodded. Asterisk, the Queen pressed her hand against Raynor's chest again, this time holding it longer. Her skin felt cool even through his suit. Strange symbols glowed across her arms, pulsing softly. Raynor didn't move. He could feel something flowing into him, not pain, but knowledge. Images flashed across his mind. A dying planet, broken cities, generations of stillbirths. The Queen's species had reached the edge of extinction. She stepped back slowly. Her voice was calm, but there was urgency beneath it. Our life code weakens. Only your blood holds the spark. With it, we can heal our future. But they must survive first, she said. Raynor nodded once. He looked over his shoulder toward the nursery. The infants were quiet, but the walls trembled again. Alarms in a foreign language buzzed around them. The ship was falling apart. Raynor turned back to the Queen. We can't stay here. I need to move them now, he said. She raised her arms. A soft green light shimmered through the chamber. The air became lighter. The toxic gas was being held back. Raynor quickly activated his beacon, broadcasting a short-range emergency ping. His snow crawler was only a kilometer away, but it wasn't built for passengers. Especially not 24 alien infants and a queen. Still, he had no choice. He carried the first set of pods out of the nursery, 6 at a time, wrapped in thermal cloth and breathing masks. The Queen followed behind him silently. Her long legs moved gracefully across the ice. Her wings shielded the wind. Raynor worked fast. His hands were shaking, but he didn't stop. The crawler groaned under the extra weight. It was a research vehicle, meant for scanning, not rescue. He pushed the pods into the storage bay, then checked their seals again. The Queen bent low to look inside, her eyes glowing softly. They will live. If you help them, she whispered. He climbed into the pilot's seat and activated the engine. It sputtered, then roared to life. The ice cracked beneath them as the crawler turned toward the outpost. Behind them, the alien ship gave out a final blast of pressure. Fire shot into the sky, then it collapsed into itself. Raynor drove fast. The storm was growing stronger, wind and snow blinding everything around them. The Queen sat beside him, her wings folded tightly. She spoke no words, but her presence was calm, not afraid, not desperate, just determined. When they reached the outpost, Raynor opened the hatch and carried the first group of infants inside. Emergency lights flickered on. The air filters hummed. The Queen followed him, her tall form barely fitting through the corridors. She knelt beside the nursery pods and began to hum. The hum turned into a low vibration that seemed to soothe the babies. Raynor watched her. She was not like anything he had seen in all his missions. Her movements were slow and careful. She never looked at him with anger or judgment. Only quiet focus, only the instinct to protect. He felt something stir in his chest. Not fear, not even confusion. Just a strange, deep respect. He prepared an isolation chamber for her. Clean air, warmer temperature. She stepped inside without question. Before the door closed, she turned and looked at him. We will speak soon. When the young are safe, she said. Raynor worked through the night. He patched power conduits, secured food supplies, and monitored the pods. Each infant had different needs. Some needed warmth. Some needed moisture. All needed clean air. He didn't sleep. He didn't stop. When he grew weak, he thought of her voice. By morning, the systems were stable. The storm outside had passed. The queen emerged from her chamber. Her wings shimmered with new strength. She stepped into the nursery and touched each pod gently. One by one, the infants began to stir, not with pain. With life, she turned to Rainer. "You are now part of this story," she said. Rainer wiped sweat from his brow. "What do you mean?" "I helped them survive." "That's all," he replied. The queen looked at him carefully. "It is not all. When I touched you, I read your structure. Your kind was made for survival. You adapt, you endure. That is what we lost. That is what we need," she said. He frowned. "I'm not special. Just the last one standing when help was needed," he said. She stepped closer. "No, you are the bridge between two dying species. And from that bridge, something new can be born," she said. Rainer felt his chest tighten. "What are you asking me to do?" he asked. The queen raised her hand again, palm glowing with soft blue light. "Not now. When the time comes, your answer will shape the future," she said. He looked down at the tiny alien children, breathing steadily in their pods. One of them reached up and tapped the glass softly. He placed his finger against it in return. Something had begun. Something far greater than rescue. Rainer stood in the nursery chamber, staring at the glowing pods. The infants had stabilized overnight. Their breathing was regular. Their small limbs twitched gently. It was a silent kind of peace. But his mind was loud with questions. The queen watched him from across the room. She stood like a statue, tall and regal, her translucent wings barely moving. When she finally spoke, her voice was like wind passing through glass. "They are safe, for now. But your world is not," she said. Rainer turned. "You mean the war? Are more ships coming?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "My kind did not come to destroy. We came to flee, but others followed. Enemies of life. They do not forgive mercy," she said. Rainer's pulse quickened. "You brought them here," he said, keeping his voice calm. The queen's expression did not change. "We tried to go unnoticed. We failed. They saw our escape. Now they chase us across stars. Earth is not their target. But they will burn it if it hides us," she said. Rainer clenched his fists. He looked at the pods again. "Then we need to move them, all of them, somewhere safe. Somewhere they can grow," he said. The queen stepped forward. "They will not survive space again. Not in their current state, but they can survive here, hidden, and in time changed. With you," she said. He frowned. "Changed how?" he asked. The queen raised her hand. Light shimmered in her palm. A small projection appeared. DNA strands twisted and shifted. Rainer saw one strand split, then fuse with another. His own structure, her species, combined. He took a step back. "You want to merge our genetics?" he said. The queen nodded. "Not for now, not by force. But when they are older, when they are ready, your legacy will guide them. Your strength will be their shield," she said. Rainer stared at the projection. His hands felt cold. "And what happens to me?" he asked. "You remain, as you are, but part of something larger. Something that remembers what you gave," she said. He didn't answer. Instead, he walked to the control terminal. The outpost's communication tower had limited power, but he could try to send a pulse through old channels. If Earth forces were still out there, they needed to know what was coming. He activated the long-range antenna and typed in a coded distress signal. Then he added a warning: unknown threat pursuing alien refugees. Earth may be target. Prepare defense. He pressed send and watched the signal vanish into the void. The queen approached slowly. "Will they come for you?" she asked. Rainer shrugged. "If they're alive, if anyone's listening. I don't know. But it was the right thing to do," he said. She tilted her head. "That is what makes your kind powerful. Not weapons, not size, but the need to do right. Even when afraid, she said. Raynor didn't speak. He was thinking about the children, about the cost of mercy. He was thinking about his role in this strange, quiet war. Later that day, the sensors picked up something in the upper atmosphere. A fast-moving object, too fast to be human. Raynor checked the readings twice. It wasn't Earth's ship. It wasn't one of hers either. He called out to the Queen. Something's coming, one ship. It's slowing down, he said. She moved. To the screen, her eyes narrowed. They have found us, she whispered. Raynor didn't wait. He activated the outpost's defense grid. Old tech, barely functional, but better than nothing. The shield dome lit up over the surface, weak but visible. The Queen gathered the pods with care, moving them deeper into the lower chambers. Raynor followed. We hold here? He asked. We hide, we delay. That is our strength now, she replied. The ship landed near the crater. Silent, no weapons fired, no signals sent, just silence. Then a dark figure stepped out. Tall, armored, cloaked. In shadows. Its body shimmered with shifting plates. Its face was hidden by a mask with 4 glowing eyes. Raynor watched from the camera feed. That thing doesn't look friendly, he said. The Queen's tone grew colder. Hunter, one of the old breed. They do not ask. They erase, she said. Raynor grabbed his rifle, not military grade, but reliable. He checked the charge and locked the chamber. If it comes inside, I'll slow it down. You keep them safe, he said. She looked at him, then nodded once. You are not part of us. Yet you act as if you are, she said. He gave her a tired smile. I'm just human. We don't run from crying children, he said. Then he climbed to the upper deck and waited by the main entrance. The outer alarms began to buzz. Something was cutting through the door. Sparks rained onto the floor. The lights dimmed as power shifted. Raynor raised his weapon. He breathed slow. He did not expect to win. He just wanted to give them time, because somewhere beneath him, a new future was breathing. Asterisk, the outer hatch exploded inward as the metal gave way. Smoke and sparks filled the hallway. Raynor didn't blink. He crouched behind the reinforced bulkhead and aimed his weapon at the shadows. The air smelled like burning wires and ozone. Every part of his body tensed. A shape stepped through the smoke. Tall, silent, unnatural. Its armor shifted like living glass, reflecting the hallway in broken pieces. Its eyes glowed blue, 4 of them, no face, no mouth. No mercy, Raynor fired. The plasma bolt struck the creature in the chest. It staggered, but only for a second. Then it advanced again. Raynor shot twice more. 1 bolt grazed the arm. The other hit the wall. The intruder raised its hand, and a long blade unfolded from its wrist. Raynor rolled to the side as the blade slashed the air where he had just been. The steel cracked the wall behind him. He ducked behind another barrier and tossed a sonic charge. It exploded with a sharp bang that rattled the corridor. The creature paused. Its movement slowed. Raynor dashed to the next junction and sealed the door behind him. He had a few seconds. Not more. He sprinted toward the lower levels, toward the nursery. Below, the Queen stood near the pods. Her wings arched like shields. Her eyes were glowing brighter now, her body standing still like a silent guardian. The infants were quiet, sensing danger. In the vibrations of the floor, Raynor burst into the room and slammed the security door. It's inside. I slowed it, not stopped it, he said. The Queen turned her head. Then we must finish what was started, she said. Raynor looked confused. What do you mean? He asked. She stepped forward and placed a small vial in his hand. It glowed purple, pulsing gently. This is the last of our core code, our essence. You must take it. Bond with it. It will protect you. "And if you fall, it will protect them," she said. Raynor stared at the vial. "I'm not one of you." He said, "You are now, by choice, by action." "That is enough," she replied. He nodded and uncapped the vial. The fluid was warm as it touched his skin. It vanished into his arm like smoke being pulled into fire. His vision blurred. His heartbeat slowed. Then it surged. He felt stronger, faster, focused. The door above shattered. The hunter was near. The queen spread her wings and faced the entrance. "You hold the future. Guard it," she whispered. Raynor stepped forward. "Not without you," he said. The door cracked open. The hunter stepped inside. It saw the queen. It raised its blade. Without hesitation, Raynor moved. His weapon hummed with new energy. He fired again. This time, the bolt punched through the hunter's chest. The creature stumbled, but did not fall. It roared without sound and lunged forward. Raynor met it mid-charge. Their bodies slammed together. The blade sliced across his side. Pain flashed through him. But he didn't fall. He grabbed the creature's arm and twisted. With strength he didn't understand, he broke it. The blade clattered to the floor. The queen moved beside him, her hands glowing. She touched the hunter's head. Light surged through her fingers. The creature twitched. Its armor flickered. Then it collapsed with a thud. Raynor staggered. Blood stained his side. He leaned against the wall and gasped. The queen caught him. Her touch was cold and firm. "You must rest. The bond is not complete," she said. He nodded, eyes blurry. "Are they safe?" he asked. The queen looked around. The pods were untouched. The children were alive. "Yes, for now," she said. Raynor sank to the floor. His body shook. He had never felt this kind of power. Or this kind of pain. The queen knelt beside him and placed a hand over his wound. Light flowed again. The pain eased. He looked at her face. "What happens next?" he asked. She paused before answering. "Others will come, but not yet. You have changed the path. They will fear what we are becoming," she said. Raynor smiled faintly. "Good, let them," he said. The queen stood and turned toward the nursery. She touched one of the pods gently. "Their future is not written yet, but it is no longer fading," she said. Raynor leaned back against the wall. His weapon rested beside him. His hand still glowed faintly from the vial's power. He didn't know what he had become, but he knew what he had done. He had stood between death and life had won. Raynor awoke to silence. Cold metal pressed against his back. The lights above flickered weakly, casting soft shadows across the nursery floor. His hand moved slowly to his side. The wound was sealed. Not fully healed, but strong enough to move. He sat up carefully. The queen stood at the edge of the chamber, watching the pods. Her wings shimmered in soft waves of light. She didn't speak until he stood. "You are awake. That is good." "The bond held through the night," she said. Raynor nodded. "I feel different, not just stronger. Like I can feel them breathing," he said. The queen turned to him. "You feel what I feel, their presence, their need, their future," she said. He walked toward her. The nursery was quiet. The children slept peacefully, unaware of what had happened above them. "We stopped one hunter. How many more are out there?" he asked. "Too many, but we have time. The death of one has slowed their advance. They fear what they do not understand," she said. Raynor rubbed his temple. His thoughts were faster now. His eyes sharper. But something deeper had changed. He wasn't just protecting them anymore. He was part of them. He looked at the queen. "I need to know everything. If I'm helping protect them, I need the full truth," he said. She nodded once and gestured toward a console. A projection rose, displaying a star map filled with blinking lights. One sector blinked red. "This is our origin. We once thrived there. until the old breed began their purge. They call it cleansing. We call it slaughter, she said. Raynor stared at the map. They hunted your kind across the stars? He asked. Yes, we refused their command. We chose life through harmony. They demand obedience through extinction. Our genetics hold balance. That balance threatens their control, she said. He pointed at another sector. And Earth? Why here? He asked. Because your species carries what we lost. The chaos of survival, the will to adapt. When mixed with ours, it becomes something new. Something they cannot control, she said. Raynor sat down beside the projector. The truth was deeper than he imagined. This wasn't just about rescue. It was about evolution. About defiance. What happens if we succeed? He asked. The Queen's voice dropped to a whisper. Then the stars will burn with new light. A future neither human nor alien. But something better, she said. A soft chime echoed from the console. Raynor stood quickly. It was a signal. Faint. From orbit, human frequency. He tapped the controls. A voice crackled through the static. This is UEG command. Unknown signal received. Identify. Repeat, identify. The voice said. Raynor leaned into the mic. This is Captain Raynor. Arctic Outpost 7. We have survivors. Non-hostile alien. Life. Hostile pursuers neutralized. Request immediate evac and protection protocol, he said. The line went silent. Then the reply came. Captain Raynor, we copy. Extraction team en route. Hold position. Secure all life forms, the voice said. Raynor exhaled slowly. Help was coming, but with help came questions. And maybe fear. He turned to the Queen. Human ships are on the way. They'll come armed. We need to prepare, he said. She nodded. They will see what you see, but not feel what you feel. That is the danger, she said. They spent the next hour moving the nursery to a secure bunker below the base. Raynor modified the readings to show only heat signatures, not genetic data. He knew Earth Command. They would want control. And control often meant harm. When the extraction ship landed, the ground trembled. 2 dropships hovered over the ice. Soldiers in black armor spread across the site. Weapons raised. Eyes wide, Raynor stepped out with his hands visible. Do not fire, they are children. And she is not the enemy, he said. The commander walked forward. Captain Raynor. You're supposed to be dead, he said. Raynor shook his head. No. Just busy saving lives, he said. The commander eyed the Queen. His hand hovered near his holster. What is that? He asked. She is a queen, a protector. She is the reason 23 alien infants are alive. She is the reason Earth hasn't been turned to ash, Raynor said. The soldiers stood still. No orders given. No shots fired. The Queen lowered her wings and bowed her head slightly. Not as submission, but as peace. The commander glanced back at his team. Then he gave the signal. Stand down. Secure the area. Medical teams forward, he said. Raynor turned to the Queen. You're safe. For now, but trust won't come easy, he said. She looked at him. That is why you were chosen, not to lead. To guide, she said, and deep inside the Earth's frozen crust, a new hope waited. Asterisk. The Queen stood beneath the glowing lights of the underground bunker. Her wings folded close to her back. The pods had been carefully placed in a sterile chamber, surrounded by medical scanners and soft lights. Earth scientists moved slowly around them, watching, but not touching. Raynor stayed close. He answered every question. He made sure no one tried anything dangerous. The Queen never spoke unless asked. Her silence carried more weight than words. Command had not yet made a decision. They had allowed the Queen and her children to stay under protection, but there was tension in every room. Weapons were kept charged. Guards stood near every hallway. Raynor could feel it. Fear, the kind of fear that led to mistakes. He walked the halls every hour, speaking with the crew, calming doubts, reminding them that they were not under attack. But he knew words could only do so much. The Queen met him near the observation window, her gaze fixed on the stars beyond. They watch us with fear. They do not yet see the gift, she said. Raynor leaned beside her. They see a threat because they don't understand. And most people attack what they fear, he said. She turned to him. Then teach them. Show them what you saw. What you became, she said. He nodded. I'll try. But they'll need more than my word. They need proof that we can live together, he said. She stepped closer. Then let us give them proof, she said. Later that day, the Queen requested a meeting with command. Raynor made the call. A single ship arrived. Aboard it were 4 officials, 1 scientist and 1 general. They wore black coats and unreadable expressions. They entered the bunker without speaking. The Queen waited in the central chamber. The pods hummed softly behind her. Raynor stood at her side. When the group entered, the temperature felt colder, though the heaters still ran. Lead official stepped forward. You are the Queen? He asked. She nodded slowly. I am the guardian of the last of my kind, she said. He narrowed his eyes. Why should we allow you to stay on Earth? He asked. She raised her hand and pointed toward the pods. Because your world gave them life. And now they carry part of your world in them, she said. The scientist stepped closer. Explain, what do you mean? She asked. Raynor answered. The Queen merged their genetics with mine. My DNA is now part of their biology. They are no longer just alien. They are something new. Something born of both worlds, he said. General's face hardened. That sounds like a weapon, he said. The Queen stepped forward. Not a weapon, a bridge, a hope. You kill what you fear, but you protect what is yours. They are now yours too, she said. Silence fell over the room. The weight of her words settled on every face. The official looked at Raynor. And you support this? He asked. Raynor didn't hesitate. With my life. I've seen what they are. I've seen what we can be. We have a chance to build something better than fear, he said. The official looked at the others. Then he spoke. You will remain under observation. No movement off planet. No spreading genetic material. If a threat rises, the program ends, he said. The Queen bowed her head. We accept, she said. The officials left soon after. The general paused at the door. Captain Raynor, you're gambling with Earth's future, he said. Raynor looked him in the eye. No, I'm giving it one, he said. In the weeks that followed, the bunker turned into a research facility. Scientists came to study the pods. Doctors monitored Raynor's condition. The Queen offered guidance, but only when asked. She remained calm, her eyes always watching. The children began to grow. Slowly at first. Their bodies adapted to Earth's gravity. Their skin darkened to resist UV light. Their lungs thickened to breathe deeper. They began to show signs of speech. Soft words. First in the Queen's language. Then in English. One child reached for Raynor's hand and called him father. He didn't correct it. The Queen stood nearby, her eyes shimmering. They remember your kindness. That is the legacy they carry, she said. Raynor looked around. The chamber. What had once been an alien nursery was now a new kind of family, not made by blood. Made by choice. And far above them, in the cold dark sky, others still watched. The child who called Raynor father sat beside him now, holding a small tablet in its 3-fingered hands. Its eyes were wide, glowing with soft green light. The sound of soft breathing filled the room. The other children slept in nearby. Pods, growing stronger each day. Raynor watched the screen as the child traced letters slowly. S-U-N, it said proudly. He smiled. Very good, that's right. "Son," he replied. The queen entered silently. She stood in the doorway, watching the interaction without interrupting. Her wings were folded neatly behind her. Her gaze softened. As she looked at the child, "They learn quickly," she said. Raynor nodded. "Faster than I expected, and not just language. They're curious. They ask questions about everything," he said. The queen stepped closer. "They are the first of their kind, but not the last. Each one holds the strength of your people and the memory of mine," she said. Raynor leaned back. "I just hope Earth sees that before it's too late," he said. A soft alarm pulsed through the facility. Raynor stood quickly and tapped the console. A warning flashed across the screen. "Orbital motion detected. Unidentified ship entering low orbit." The queen moved beside him. "They have returned," she said. Raynor contacted Central Command. "This is Raynor. We've got incoming, not one of ours." "You picking it up?" he asked. The reply came quickly. "Confirmed. No transponder. Holding position over polar orbit. Defense grid locked in," the voice said. Raynor turned to the queen. "Is it another hunter?" he asked. She studied the readings. "No, this one watches, measures. They want to see what we have become," she said. Raynor looked back at the sleeping children. "Then we show them," he said. A high-level meeting was called at the outpost. Military, scientists, and diplomats arrived within hours. They gathered in the observation chamber, overlooking the alien nursery. Raynor stood in front of them. The queen stood to his left. One official stepped forward. "We can't risk it. That ship could be a scout. If it sends data back, they'll come in force," he said. Raynor held up a hand. "If we strike first, we confirm their fears. If we stay calm, we show them this is not a threat." "It's a beginning," he said. Another officer scoffed. "You're trusting aliens over your own people," he said. Raynor faced him. "No, I'm trusting what I've seen with my own eyes. I saw a queen risk her life for children. I saw infants suffering and still reaching for comfort. I saw something worth protecting," he said. The queen raised her voice. "We do not want war, but if you fire, they will answer. Not because of hatred, but because of history," she said. The room fell silent. The commander finally spoke. "What do you suggest?" he asked. Raynor looked at the queen. Then he spoke. "We let them see. One message, one image, of the future we're building. And we wait," he said. A camera was brought into the nursery. Raynor sat beside the child who called him father. The child held a small sign in its hand, a drawing. A human and an alien holding hands under a sun. It held it up to the lens and smiled. The queen stood behind them. The message was transmitted upward. The alien ship received it and did nothing. Hours passed. Tension filled the air. Earth's ships stayed ready, weapons armed, shields up, but the alien vessel did not move. It simply hovered, watching. Then, slowly it turned. The ship adjusted its course and began to rise, higher and higher until it passed out of orbit and vanished into the stars. The control room erupted in shouts. Relief, confusion, joy. Raynor simply closed his eyes and breathed. The queen placed a hand on his shoulder. They saw truth, and they chose to wait, she said. Raynor looked at the child. "Then maybe there's hope after all," he said. That night, the nursery glowed with soft light. The children dreamed in silence. The queen watched over them, her wings gently moving with the air. Raynor sat at the edge of the room, eyes half closed, rifle at his side, not as a soldier, but as a guardian. Outside, the snow continued to fall, hiding the scars of battle beneath white silence. But deep underground, something new was growing. The seasons changed above the frozen wasteland, but deep beneath the ice, warmth remained. The nursery had become more than a shelter. It was a beginning. The walls that once held fear now echoed with learning, laughter, and quiet wonder. Raynor walked through this central hall where the children gathered each morning. Their bodies had grown stronger. Their skin no longer shimmered in silver light. Instead, it reflected the pale tones of Earth, a blend of human warmth and alien heritage. Each child was unique. Some stood tall and moved with silent grace like the Queen. Others spoke with Raynor's words and laughed with human joy. They were neither one nor the other. They were both. The Queen entered the room, her wings folded behind her like a soft curtain. She smiled as she watched two children stacking small cubes into a tower. "They are building," she said. Raynor nodded. "That's all I ever wanted. A future they could build with their own hands," he said. She looked at him carefully. "You gave more than protection. You gave direction. Without it, they would still be hiding in silence," she said. Raynor didn't answer. He watched the children. His thoughts were deep, but his heart was calm. For the first time in many years, he felt peace. An alert sounded from the far end of the corridor, not danger. A signal, a message coming through secure channels. Raynor walked to the terminal and tapped the console. The face of a UEG ambassador appeared. "Captain Raynor, you are cleared for Earth arrival. The Council wishes to meet the Queen, the children too. They believe it is time," the ambassador said. Raynor turned to the Queen. She stepped closer. "Is the time right?" she asked. He smiled. "Only one way to find out," he said. Preparations began at once. A diplomatic ship arrived with soft landing thrusters and no weapons. Scientists, translators, and diplomats came aboard. The Queen walked the halls of the vessel with quiet strength. The children followed her, eyes wide, absorbing every sound, every shape. Raynor stood at the front of the bridge. Earth filled the screen, blue and green, alive and full of hope. "We're home," he said. The landing was silent. No crowds. No noise. Just a wide platform and a welcome team. The Queen stepped forward first. The children stayed close behind. Raynor walked beside them, wearing no armor, only a small badge on his chest. The council members bowed politely. One stepped forward and offered a hand. The Queen looked at it for a moment, then placed her hand over his. The gesture was complete. Trust had begun. They were taken to a special building near the mountains. Quiet, protected. There, the council listened. The Queen spoke of her people's past. Raynor spoke of the war, the nursery, and the choices made in the dark. The children said nothing, but their presence spoke louder than words. At the end of the meeting, the head of the council stood. "We see what you have made, what you have become. Not invaders, not experiments, but something new," he said. The Queen nodded. "We do not want power, we want a place. A chance to grow," she said. The council voted in silence. Then the result was shared. The children would be granted Earth citizenship. The Queen would be allowed to build a sanctuary. Raynor would lead the team to guide them as they grew. Years passed. The sanctuary became a small village, then a city. Its buildings curved like the Queen's wings. Its walls carried symbols from both languages. Human families visited. Some chose to stay. Some chose to learn. Raynor remained at the center, not as a soldier, not as a scientist, but as the first bridge between two worlds. The children became teachers, builders, explorers. Some returned to space, carrying Earth's symbol and the Queen's blessing. Others remained to raise the next generation, and in time, fear faded. In his final years, Raynor sat beneath the sun with the Queen beside him. He watched children play under the open sky. "We made it," he said. She looked at him. "You made it possible. Your kind gave us the last piece we needed," she said. He closed his eyes. "I just did what was right," he said. The Queen placed her hand over his heart. "Then that is what they will remember," she said. "When he passed, they did not bury him under Earth's soil. They placed his name in the stars, written in both tongues. A symbol not of war, but of unity. And above his name, a simple line was carved. He protected the children. And that changed everything.